My mother changed her will from a hospital bed 3 days before she died. She left $480,000 to her hospice nurse, a woman none of us had ever met before the diagnosis. My brother Dennis had an attorney on the phone before the funeral flowers wilted. My sister Bev couldn't stop crying long enough to form a sentence. Both of them were certain the nurse had manipulated a dying woman into rewriting her estate. I wasn't sure what to think, so while Dennis filed a contest and Bev called everyone she knew, I drove to the county records office. What I found there made me sit in my truck for an hour because I couldn't see the road through the tears. My mother hadn't been manipulated. She had been keeping a secret for 52 years, and the nurse was the reason she kept it. My name is Frank Moran. My mother was Catherine Moran. She was a librarian for 36 years. She cataloged every book that came through the doors of the Winslow Public Library, and she cataloged her own life with the same quiet precision. She left out one entry, and it changed everything.
I should tell you what those last weeks looked like. Mom was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in September. By November, she was in hospice care at home. The agency assigned a rotating team of nurses, but one became her primary, Claire Whitfield, 52 years old, calm, professional, gentle without being soft. She adjusted Mom's medication, she changed the sheets without waking her. She sat with Mom during the long afternoons when the rest of us had to work. I liked Claire. She was good at her job. She didn't overshare, she didn't cry in front of us. She treated Mom like a person, not a patient. What I noticed, but didn't think about until later, was the way Mom looked at Claire. Not the way you look at a caretaker, the way you look at someone you've been waiting to see. Dennis is 55, an attorney. His instinct when something goes wrong is to build a case. Bev is 49, the youngest, emotional, wears her heart on every surface. I'm the middle, 52. I build houses. I measure things. I don't move until I understand the foundation. When the will was read and Claire's name appeared next to $480,000, Dennis went cold. Bev went loud. I went quiet. Undue influence, Dennis said. Classic elder exploitation. A hospice nurse with access to a vulnerable patient. I've seen this a dozen times. He hadn't, but it sounded convincing.
The will left the house to me, split the remaining investments between Dennis and Bev. Those portions were fair, roughly $220,000 each. Nobody had a problem with that. The problem was the $480,000 in a separate brokerage account that none of us knew existed. Mom had opened it 11 years ago, funded it quietly, month by month, from her library pension and Social Security. She never mentioned it. That money went to Claire Whitfield. No conditions, no explanation in the will itself, just her name and the amount. Dennis filed to contest within a week. His argument? Cognitive decline, undue influence, a caretaker exploiting a dying woman's confusion. But I kept thinking about two things. First, Mom called the notary herself, not Claire, not a stranger. She called Douglas Pratt, who had notarized every document she'd signed for 20 years. Douglas came to the house. He later told me Mom was lucid, specific, and unhurried. She knew exactly what she was doing. Second, Mom had opened that account 11 years ago. Claire had been her nurse for 9 weeks. The money existed long before Claire walked through our door. Something didn't add up, but not in the direction Dennis was pushing. I drove to the county records office on a Tuesday morning.
I didn't know what I was looking for. I only knew that my mother was the most deliberate woman I'd ever known. She didn't make mistakes with paperwork. She didn't leave things to chance. If she left $480,000 to a stranger, there was a reason, and the reason was documented somewhere. I started with vital records. Mom was born in 1946, married my father in 1974. Dennis was born in 1969. I was born in 1972. Bev in 1975. I requested Mom's full birth and marriage records. Clean, normal. Then I searched for any records filed under her maiden name, Catherine Shaw. The clerk brought back a file I hadn't expected, a certificate of live birth filed in March 1972. Mother, Catherine Shaw, age 25. Father, listed as unknown. A baby girl, born 7 months before I was. I sat at the records counter and read it 3 times. My mother had a baby in 1972, before she married my father, before any of us existed in the version of the story she told. The baby was given up for adoption. The record showed a transfer to Catholic Family Services, closed adoption, sealed file. I looked at the birth date, March 14, 1972. I drove home and opened my laptop. Claire Whitfield's nursing license was public record. Date of birth, March 14, 1972. The hospice nurse was my mother's daughter.
I didn't call Dennis. I didn't call Bev. I sat in my truck in the driveway for a long time, watching the sun move across the windshield. My mother had a daughter before she married my father. She gave that daughter up. She spent 52 years knowing that child was somewhere in the world. And then, in the last weeks of her life, that daughter walked into her house wearing scrubs and a name badge and started adjusting her IV drip. What are the chances? In a town of 40,000 people, with a hospice agency that employs maybe 30 nurses, the one assigned to Catherine Moran's case was the daughter she'd given away in 1972. I didn't believe in fate, but I was starting to believe my mother did. Because here's what kept circulating in my head. The account, $480,000, opened 11 years ago, funded slowly, steadily, from a librarian's pension. Mom wasn't saving that money for retirement. She was already retired. She wasn't saving it for us. We were already in the will. She was saving it for someone specific, someone she'd been looking for, or waiting for, or preparing for over a decade. The money wasn't an impulse. It was a plan. The same way everything in my mother's life was a plan. She just never expected the plan to complete itself in a hospice bed.
I went to the bank where the account was held. I had power of attorney over Mom's estate. The account manager pulled the records. Opened in 2013. Monthly deposits of $800 to $1,200. Never missed a month. No withdrawals. The beneficiary designation was originally blank. It was updated 3 days before Mom died. Who updated it? I asked. Mrs. Moran called and requested the change by phone. We sent a representative to her home for the signature. She was clear and specific about the beneficiary name and date of birth. Claire Whitfield, March 14th, 1972. I went home and sat in Mom's room. The hospital bed was still there. The agency hadn't picked it up yet. Her reading glasses were on the nightstand next to a stack of books she'd never finish. I opened the closet. Mom kept a fireproof box on the top shelf. I knew the combination. Inside, the house deed, her marriage certificate, our birth certificates, a life insurance policy. And a sealed envelope. On the front, in Mom's handwriting. For Frank, when the time comes. Not for Dennis, not for Bev. For me, the one she knew would look.
The letter was 4 pages. Her handwriting was steady on the first 2. By the end, it was shaking, but every word was legible. Frank, if you're reading this, you found the account. And if you found the account, you probably found the rest. You were always the one who checked the foundation before forming an opinion. She wrote that in 1971, before she married our father. She became pregnant. She was 25, working at a bookstore in Rutland. The father was a man she never named, not in the letter, not anywhere. I was alone and afraid and 25 years old in a world that didn't forgive women for that. I made the decision I thought I had to make. I've lived with it every day since. She gave the baby to Catholic Family Services, closed adoption. She moved to Winslow the following year, met our father, married, and started the life we knew. I never forgot her, not one day. I tried to find her twice. The records were sealed. I hired a private investigator in 2009. He found a name but no address. Claire Whitfield, born March 14, 1972, adopted at 3 weeks old by Richard and Maureen Whitfield of Burlington. My mother had known Claire's name for 15 years. She opened the account 4 years after finding it. She put money aside every month for a daughter she'd never held. And then Claire walked through the front door with a blood pressure cuff and a gentle voice, and my mother recognized her immediately.
The letter continued. When Claire was assigned to me,
I knew. I can't explain how, except that a mother knows, but I confirmed it. Her name, her birthday, the way she tilts her head when she listens, the birthmark behind her left ear, the same one I saw for 3 seconds in 1972 before they took her. Mom never told Claire. I wanted to. Every afternoon when she sat with me, I wanted to say it, but I had no right to disrupt her life. She has her own family, her own history, her own mother who raised her. I am the woman who let her go. I don't get to walk back in and claim what I gave up. Instead, she did the only thing she could. She changed the beneficiary on the account. $480,000 saved over 11 years to the daughter she'd never been allowed to keep. I don't expect forgiveness from anyone, not from Claire if she ever learns the truth, not from you or Dennis or Bev. I only want you to know why. She didn't manipulate me. She didn't even know me. She showed up and did her job with kindness, and the universe gave me 9 weeks with my daughter before I died. That was more than I deserved. The last line was barely legible. Tell her or don't. That's your decision now. But if you do, tell her I watched her work and I was proud.
I sat with the letter for 3 days before I called Dennis. "Drop the contest," I said. "Have you lost your mind? That nurse—" "She's our sister, Dennis." The line went quiet for a long time. I told him everything: the birth certificate, the account history, Mom's letter. He listened without interrupting, which for Dennis was unusual. When I finished, he said, "Are you sure?" March 14th, 1972. Same birth date, same town of origin. Mom confirmed it in the letter. Does Claire know? No, Mom never told her. Another long silence. I'll drop the contest. Bev was harder. She cried for an hour, not from anger, from grief, from the realization that our mother had carried a secret for 52 years and never let it show. How did she do that? Bev whispered. How did she sit at Thanksgiving and Christmas and birthdays and never say a word? Because she was Mom, I said. She filed everything in the right place and kept the door closed. Does Claire really not know? No. That's the saddest part, Frank. She took care of Mom for 9 weeks and never knew she was taking care of her own mother.
I thought about it for 2 weeks. Mom's letter said it was my decision. Tell her or don't. I thought about what it would mean for Claire to learn that the patient she'd cared for was her biological mother, a woman she'd never known, a woman who watched her work every day and said nothing, who changed a will to leave her $480,000 and never explained why. Would that be a gift or a wound? I didn't know, but I knew that Claire deserved the choice to decide for herself. I called the hospice agency and asked to speak with Claire Whitfield. They gave me her work number. She called back the same afternoon. "Mr. Moran, is everything all right? I'd like to meet with you. Not about the estate, about something my mother left for you, something besides the money." She was quiet for a moment. What did she leave? A letter and an explanation. We met at the diner on Oak Street the following Saturday. She came in her regular clothes, no scrubs. She looked different outside the context of my mother's house. Younger, nervous. I slid the birth certificate across the table first, then Mom's letter. "Take your time," I said. "I'll be right here."
Claire read the birth certificate in about 10 seconds. She looked up at me, looked back down, read it again. Then she opened the letter. She read it slowly. Her hands were steady for the first 2 pages. On the 3rd page, when Mom described the birthmark behind her left ear, Claire touched the spot without looking up. She finished the letter and set it down on the table. She didn't say anything for a long time. The waitress came by and I waved her off. "She knew?" said Claire. "From the first day. She never said anything. She didn't think she had the right."
Claire pressed her palm flat on the letter, the way you press your hand on something to make sure it's real. "I was adopted at 3 weeks old," she said. "My parents told me when I was 16. I looked once in my 20s. The records were sealed. I stopped looking." She didn't stop. Claire closed her eyes. When she opened them, she wasn't crying. She was steady, the way she'd been steady with my mother, the way I now understood she got from my mother. She said she was proud of me. She wrote it, last line of the letter. Claire folded the letter carefully and held it against her chest. "I took care of her. I didn't know, but I took care of her. You did. And she knew exactly who you were the whole time."
Dennis dropped the contest. The estate was distributed as Mom intended. The house to me. Investment split between Dennis and Bev. The $480,000 account to Claire. Claire didn't cash it immediately. She told me she needed time. I understood. The money wasn't money to her. It was 52 years of a mother's silence, converted into something she could hold. She cashed it 4 months later. She used part of it to pay off her student loans. The rest she put into a college fund for her son, a boy named James, who is 14 and wants to be an engineer. My mother never met her grandson, but she funded his future from a hospital bed. Claire comes to the house sometimes now. Not often, not like family yet, more like someone learning the hallways of a place she should have known her whole life. She sits in Mom's chair. She looks at the bookshelves. She reads the spines the way Mom used to. Bev brings her coffee. Dennis stays in the other room, but he's there. I'm building shelves in the living room, new ones, to replace the ones Dad put up 40 years ago. Claire holds the boards while I cut them. Family is measured by who shows up and stays. Mom cataloged her entire life. Every book, every receipt, every record. She filed everything perfectly. And in the end, the most important thing she ever cataloged was a birth certificate she kept hidden for 52 years and a savings account she filled 1 month at a time for a daughter she thought she'd never see again. Catherine Moran, librarian, mother of 4, not 3. The quietest woman I ever knew. She carried more than any of us understood, and she made sure it landed exactly where it was supposed to. If you've ever lost someone and discovered they were still teaching you things after they were gone, I'd like to hear about it.